Hello and welcome to the Tricking Odyssey. In this episode, I'm in Glasgow to find out how the chaotic Scottish trickers train and to investigate how Hadouken Tricking Academy came to exist. Fallen forever! Well, boy, we've come to the right place because this is Kelvindale Primary School, where I was indoctrinated, you may say, into the world of tricking evangelists. This is where they asked the question to me, Kris, what are you doing? Get back here. Kris, Kris, come back here. Kris, stop, listen. There wasn't a lot of listening going on, I'll tell you that much. I spent all of my childhood running around, climbing on things, pretending to fight invisible ninjas like I was a Power Ranger, doing anything possible not to listen to teachers. I just wanted to know, why are these people interfering with me being a ninja and doing flips? And that was the theme of my childhood, especially in primary school here, where I have ADHD and I have dyslexia, so I found it extremely difficult to sit in the classroom. I didn't understand the work, and maybe it's just because of short staff, but no one really gave me any help that I could really understand the work properly. No one spent one-to-one time with me. They actually, because I had so much energy and I wasn't able to do the work, they just took my desk when I was like 4 or 5, put it in the corner of the room facing the wall and thought, oh, that'll work. My mum went in to try and defend me and say, you know, he needs some extra help, and would you not give him into so much trouble if he doesn't really know what's going on? Maybe let him figure out his own stuff and you can just sit and like join in on some of that stuff. The school decided, oh, we'll take away loads of stuff from him now. So they would have pantomimes come in, they would have like The Lion King, Aladdin. All the kids would get to go into the assembly hall and watch fun things. They would leave me outside again when I'm like a small child, give me maths work to do while I can hear them inside having loads of fun. They would then get me into trouble if I didn't do the work properly. So that happened constantly, and that just turned all the students against me even more. So everyone would just make fun of me, bully me in the playground. People would fight me, beat me up, and I would never really react because I was quite a timid boy. And anytime I did react, they would tell on me, and then they started taking my breaks away at lunch sometimes, so I would not be able to come to the playground. That was a lot of isolation and really upset me. Someone in my class basically sat everyone down in the playground and said, who even likes Kris? And the whole class, no one put their hand up. And I remember just crying and going inside of my own and just feeling like literally all the teachers, all the students here, nobody likes me whatsoever. So I just spent all of my time on my own. So I was literally just in the back, trying to do flips, running around, climbing on stuff, and just feeling like, what's the point of coming to school? This mentality sort of took me into high school years as well, where I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I really didn't enjoy school whatsoever. I enjoyed moving around and I enjoyed art. So I used to draw constantly. Every book I ever had in high school, I would draw stick animations and like graphics. So all the pages, when you would like flick through it, it would make animations. Teachers constantly saying you're defacing all of your work, bringing my mum in to say he's not doing work, he's just doing that. I would bring like blue tack into school and just sculpt things like dragons in the classroom. And like first and second year, I just didn't do any work. And again, people literally just thought, he's a target, he's kind of introverted. Just make fun of him, bully him. Every time a teacher leaves a classroom, they would attack me. On the way home, they would come onto like buses to try and fight me and stuff. So I just was like, I hate everything, right? This is so crap. So I just thought, okay, I'm just going to become the class clown. I'm going to push desks over, scrap with people in the classroom, climb on desks, do everything I can do to get kicked out of the classroom and come outside and just do other things instead. So I would be out here looking at grassy spots just to do weird gymnastics, flip type things instead of going to school. And then one day, I found something called Jump London. And I was like, holy moly, there's like real flips and people are climbing on stuff and doing stuff outside. I'm doing that. So I would climb on things like this and run around and just start doing parkour. And I found 2 friends of mine and we all started doing parkour together, and basically every day, handstands, climbing on things, I actually had something to do. Pretty productive. And then I found tricking. I done a kung fu class with my friends. And a guy there could do like a 540 kick and some other tricks. And I was like, wait a minute. That's cool. How do you do that? TricksTutorials.com. That website changed my life because it had articles and tutorials on how to do tricks. Juji Mufu is a huge inspiration to me. He basically made this website where you could actually learn how to do these movements you would see just on TV. There was YouTube had barely begun, so there was no information on how to learn any of this stuff. I actually joined the parkour forums first. I was K Slash on there, which is a name that I got from backyard wrestling days when I thought I was Rey Mysterio. I would go to freerunning jams like the Fam Jam in 2007. That was amazing. I met all these parkour athletes. They were all just doing like front flips and rudies. I, for some reason, could do like a double A twist on the concrete at the time. And I was like, this stuff's cool. The climbing on stuff is starting to get a little repetitive for me. I think parkour's amazing for athletes. I just found it that I can learn flips a lot faster than I could learn this tricking stuff I found out about. You have to be flexible. You have to actually have intricate technique. I was like, what is this stuff? It's way harder than parkour. Now it's interesting. So I hit my like free running tricking crossover now. So I'm trying to like combine them all. And then for some reason, tricking just was so difficult. It was annoying me and it had an itch that I couldn't scratch. So that took over my life. You don't understand. Nothing is as hard as tricking. Nothing. And it was making me want more. More! More. And more I did receive because I put every ounce of my energy into becoming good at tricks at the time. I was becoming more and more frustrated with the weather though. In Scotland, if you can't tell, it's freezing cold at all times. It's always raining. Snow, hailstones. There might be shopping trolleys and pigeons and old ladies flying from the sky in kilts getting ready your session. People constantly coming up to you saying,
what are you doing in my wall?
What do you want? We did a backflip.
We don't fucking do it again. Team Hadouken.
There you go. There you go.
Back off!
run away! Run away! Because all of the good grass happens to be in someone's garden or some, park they don't want you in. So I was getting frustrated. With all that happening, I was actually making a lot of progress. I was getting some UK firsts, I was feeling really strong, and I was traveling, getting to go to some tricking events, and I just destroyed myself too many times in the cold weather and thought to myself, I actually don't know if I can keep training like this. I was so angry that people in England or in America had all this access to facilities and we had nothing. I tried my best to get professional and to approach places like scout halls or youth centres or gymnastics places, and I did manage to have some access to these places, but the problem is most places do not know what you're doing. They think that you're just messing around trying to break equipment, so I'm just back outside constantly and just looking at people that came up around the same time as me, starting to surpass me, starting to get much better, much harder tricks, staying healthier, whereas I'm getting broken toes constantly, spraining my ankle in the grass, getting basically frostbite all the time, and I was like, I have to have somewhere to train. Along this sort of time, every time I went to a park, you would have kids come up to me and say, how do you do that? So I actually kind of enjoyed helping those people out. When I was around 15, I had some problems at home, basically was kicked out of school because I wasn't paying attention. My father had just passed away, who was not in my life anyway. I had a single mother growing up, and she tried her best to instill in me, confidence and say I could really achieve anything, but I just couldn't do the school system, and I was really jaded with life. So I basically went to a couple random colleges, and this is where I was trying to just like rizz up girls and do flips, and all the people in my class basically would come up to me and say, how do you do that? I want to learn a backflip. Can you teach me this? And I'm just like pondering like, maybe I could do this as a job actually, because I have nothing else going on. The question is though, how do you teach tricking as a job when, first of all, you've never really had a job? Second of all, you have no money, because when I was that age, we didn't have any money in the house. And actually, I had spent the last, long time when my dad passed away just staying in bed, playing video games, or being honest, just crying. So I lost a lot of friends because I just wouldn't leave the house. And my mum had a lot of pressure on her to pay the bills for the house. So she was like, you have to get a job. You have to get outside and get a job. She would come and, rip covers off of me, pour water on me, anything to get me up, because I just wouldn't do anything. So I had to go out and approach a bunch of places. No exam results, no GCSEs. I didn't have anything really. So I was just going around talking to as many people as I can. As a side quest, I would train myself to make eye contact with people, to just have normal conversations, because I spent my whole childhood just running around on my own doing flips and not interacting with many people. So I was like, right, I'll go into every business and ask. Couldn't really get a job anywhere, but I did get a job in a nightclub somehow. So I was in the backs doing glass cleaning, and just by being in that environment, all the people I had to work with were so charismatic that it just like unleashed part of my personality by force. People I work with would just make fun of me, say I have no game, I can't, get like negative rizz. So I was like, nah, I have to change this. So I made a point of going up to every girl I could find. They'd send me challenges to talk to hot girls and stuff, and I would like come out of my shell, and then there was no going back. So at that point, I upgraded to PR staff. So now I'm just in the streets at night, handing flyers out and doing flips and talking to girls. And for some reason, literally everything changed. City of Glasgow College, where I was pretending to my mother to study multimedia, film and web development, when actually I had different plans. I was going to start my own tricking classes, but I would have to commandeer as much public transport as possible, because I was skint and I had to go on trains and buses incognito and trying to hide from conductors, because I just didn't have the money to travel Scotland for my grand scheme. So I was going to go around schools in the morning, afternoon and at lunch, alternate where the schools are, and try and recruit as many trickers as possible to my idea of teaching all of Scotland how to trick. And this mixed martial arts gym behind me is the first place who gave me a chance. So shout out to Guy Ramsey, who owns it. He was the first person who believed my insane vision, because nobody knows what tricking is. Kids that I marketed to would come along, and then their warriors would come along and try and learn some flips as well. So the mixed martial arts people in there with these big burly men would come and learn flips as well. So that was spot number one. On to spot number two, where I troll underneath a bridge in the broomy law of Glasgow to the Gracie Barra, which is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym, where I now had 2 classes here during the week and then 1 at the weekend. So we have the customer base now to open a gym, but how do you open a tricking gym? How does that work? I was on an adventure to find out how that works. Come on. Thankfully, my mother found this program called Entrepreneurial Spark. It's through the government and it's for young people to start their own business between the ages of 18 and 25. So they were going to help me come up with a business plan and put my ideas into practice. So I had to suit up, I had to take this business plan, and I had the opportunity to go before 5 entrepreneurs and convince them that my passion could turn into a business. So I'm in there in the meeting room just throwing ideas out there, showing the passion, and their faces are lighting up. Like, I think they can feel it, but they're like, okay, we'll let you go outside and we'll tell you, we'll decide if you can get it. And I'm like, no guys, you don't understand. I have so much to tell you. I have this idea. And they just looked at each other and said, you got it. So I got £5,000, which helped me get the keys to the first gym. And here we are at number 15 Osborne Street. This is actually a converted railway line that looks like a bomb shelter inside. So we'd managed to do it, but we used all of our money on credit cards. We cannot afford a spring floor. We can't afford mats. We can't afford anything. We are just inside now, and we have to kit this place out. So my mum is very hands-on. She taught me a lot of skills in her life. She was always learning how to do plumbing and building, these sort of things. So she's like, why don't we build our own spring floor, figure out where all the parts are from, try and put it together ourselves. Shimon! And now we're in the big building. Hadouken Tricking Academy has leveled up, but it wasn't so easy to get here. So, remember the grant we got for £5,000? It turned out that they offered another program for up to £200,000. But it was conditional. You had to do it in just one building. So my mum actually found a church that had a little house in the top, but a massive area in the bottom, like a gymnasium. So we were going to sell our house and move into it. We got the money. And then, on the way to buy the building and get the keys, as I'm getting into the taxi, all the money's in the bank, my mum shouts, Kris, stop, stop. They've sold it to somebody else. I couldn't believe it. We literally had all the money in the bank account, we're about to sign it, we went through all those loopholes, and now suddenly we have no building. And it just so happened that our lease was running out in the one we were in. So we have all this equipment, all these students, nowhere to go. So me and my mum that night, looking on all these property websites trying to find a place, my mum comes into my room at like 2 in the morning and says, I found a place. And I'm like, I found a place. And it was the same place. So we book it the next day and we go in, and it's crazy. The first time we signed it, 12, 12, 12, 10 in the morning, got the keys. This place, 12, 12, 13. The same time, 1 year later, we get the keys. So we moved to this place. It's much bigger, it's much better, but that means there's way more work to do. If you guys want to know what it's like to have a tricking gym, come and look at this, right? Look at the mess. Look at the mess. This is what you don't see because everyone wants to show you all the pretty stuff. Welcome to Kris. Welcome to Kris. It's very fancy, very fancy. This is when I had hair. As you can see, the gym is coming apart right now to make room for more renovations. It's not just me and my mum that are putting this together, it's all of our friends who are coming in to help, all the parents, all the family members, everyone who's been behind me to make this happen. Massive thank you just right now, because I would not have been able to do this without you guys. And then I broke my neck. Literally just as everything was coming together and I go and do something so stupid. I wasn't even meant to be training. I was teaching a tricking class and we were doing side flips. And just me being me, I was like, oh, I'll do a double side for fun. Slipped, landed on my neck and literally ruined my life. And this is the problem with basing all of your self-worth into being good at something. I literally couldn't accept the fact that I couldn't train anymore. My ego was shattered. I was so upset with life. I thought, the only thing that's ever made me happy, the only thing that I actually thought I was good at was taken away from me, and I just gave up on life. I didn't know what to do with myself. The level of depression I had, like I was literally suicidal. Like there's so much to go into with that. I just don't want to go dark, but I literally thought my life is over. I don't want to be here anymore, and my ego was just so selfish at the time. It was the best thing that could have happened to me because I thought, if I can't be the best, then I have to be the best for everybody else. And suddenly, I just realized that actually I now have a bigger purpose than I had before. I'm pretending like I just got up and walked away, like I just tanked that. No, I was lying on the ground in the middle of a class, parents watching, kids all there. I just grabbed my neck and got up from the ground like this and was like, I'm fine. I'll just go back there. You guys continue. I walk away and like an idiot, instead of getting an ambulance, I asked someone to take me home. Because I didn't want an ambulance coming in here and them thinking that the coach, the leader of the gym has just broken his neck in here. So I just went home, put pillows around my neck and stayed in bed for a few days like an absolute idiot. When we finally went to the hospital, they said that I'd fractured C6 in my neck. If I had been like slightly off, I either would have died or in my sleep, if I had a rolled over strange, I could have been paralyzed. Really dumb. And then became the era of coming in on painkillers and trying to coach and pretend I was okay when I wasn't. Long period of time, I could not let go of the idea of me being good at tricking. I was trying to trick literally with a broken neck and then fractured 2 vertebrae in my spine, L4, L5, and completely destroyed myself. That was the kick that I needed to go, Kris, it's not about you, it's about the community you're trying to build. That's when I decided, if I can't be the best tricker in the world, I'm going to create the best trickers in the world.
After spending a few days here, I really feel like I experienced and captured what this gym means to Kris and the community. And although I've only met them 2 or 3 times, I really feel like a member of the family. As I see it, Kris has managed to preserve some of tricking's roots in this gym. So if you want to know what tricking really is and what it means to the people who indulge in it, then in my opinion, this is the best place to find out. I would also urge you to speak to Kris and some of the athletes from this gym in person if you get the chance, as there are so many unbelievable stories that I couldn't possibly fit into this episode. But with that said, I hope you learned something or gained some inspiration from this story, even if telling it nearly got me killed.
Bro, that was bad. I actually fucked him up, bro. I feel bad.
Scotland.
I told you, bro. I fucking told you.
Scotland forever.